Alright, here's my little Trail125. It's a rainy day. You see the ground's all wet. I wasn't gonna do this anytime soon, but I decided to do it because I want to buy some dirt, and well, it's gonna be mud now, so it won't be dirt anymore. So I have my heater going with a little stove fan because I'm outside now. You know, I don't have a garage, so that's a bad thing about not having a garage. I have to work under a carport. So anyway, so I just realized something and I didn't notice this before. Well, I didn't pay attention to it, I should say. Let's look at it right here. Oh, let's see, you guys can see this. So these are the stock tires, right? 80, 90, 17. 44, that's a load rating. 44 load rating is, I believe, around 350 pounds. P speed rating is like 92 or 91 or 93, something like that. You know, over 90 miles per hour. So load rating 44, okay? And your size 80, 90. Go to the back. 80, 90. It's a 50p. So it has a higher load rating than the front. Same size though, so that means they make two different size tires, or excuse me, the same size tire but two different tires. One with a higher load rating, and one with a lower load rating. So it's still a P speed rating, so it's still 90 something miles an hour. But the 50 load rating is I think around 420 pounds it could hold up. So it's like, you know, about 70 pounds more it could hold in the back wheel, you know, back tire versus the front. And that's, you know, that kind of explains it, because, you know, this bike, most of the weight is actually in the rear. It's more, you know, it's more rear heavy than it is front heavy. And you have to look at where the person sits too, right? The person sits, where the person sits, right? Where the person sits, it's, you know, where the center line is probably, I think the center line of this bike, you know, the approximate center line is probably about where the center of the crank is, you know, give or take an inch or so. So the person sits behind that, so that means it's rear bias as well. So this bike is about 260 pounds, 260, and since it's more, I think since most of the weight is, I would say, probably more rear bias than the front. So 260, half of 260 is what, 130. So I'm gonna say, you know, it's not gonna be a 130 split. It's gonna be probably maybe like a 100 and, I don't know. Instead of a 50-50 split, it's probably gonna be like more like a closer to like a 55-45 or even a 60-40 split. And if you put a person in the back here, and they're gonna be behind that center line, so I see even more bias in the back. So let's just say that it is a 50-50 split with the bike. You put someone that's, say, 250 pounds, a 250 pound rider. So if it's 130 pounds versus 250, that's already 300 and, what is that, 360? That's already past the weight limit of the front tires. But the back tire is still, you know, could hold more. And plus, if you have luggage, so you have to be mindful of that. So for the big riders, you know, bigger fellas, think about the tires that you put in here, not just the tire size, but the load rating as well. So you want to stick with that P load rating in the back. Front, not as important because, you know, it's lighter in the front, right? So since I'm gonna be putting on my knobbies now, here are my knobbies, and I have two different knobbies, right? I got and I show you in my other video, I got the IRC Trials, not Trails, but Trials GP1. And these ones are up here. These ones are the 3-inch 17 45p. So this is basically, I'm gonna use this tire for the front. 45p, you know, load rating. It's not as high. It's higher than the stock, because the stock is 40. The stock is 44, right? So the stock load rating is 44. This one's 45, so it's a little bit heavier. So let's look at my other knobby. My other knobby here is a Golden Boy. This is supposed to be Shinko, but I haven't actually looked into it yet. I haven't looked at if Golden Boy is owned by Shinko or Shinko owns Golden Boy.
or what what the relationship is. Anyways, Golden Boy Trail, not Trials, Trail tire, SR244. So that's the Shinko number. Shinko uses the SR244 number. Right. Let's see. Where's the numbers here? So there's this size 3" by 17, but this one is a 50p. So remember the back on the trail is also a 50p. So this is matches up with the back good, and actually I think it coincides very well between these two tires. You know, this tire right here is the compound is harder. The Golden Boy compound is harder than the IRC, but also the depth of the knob is deeper too than the IRC. So that's, you know, that would, you know, I think this is a good. This would be a good rear tire. This would be a good front tire. I mean, you could use 2 of these, you know, front and rear, or 2 of these front and rear. But if you do use this as a rear, you have to be mindful of the weight of the 45. You know, if you're how much you're loading up and how heavy you are. You know, if you're like under 200 pounds, you'd probably be okay with this. But if you're like 250 pounds, I think this, you might be pushing the limit of this tire as far as weight goes, especially if you're gonna be loading stuff into it as well, right? But this tire should be okay if you're 250 pounds and you have, you know, you have cargo on the back of the bike. So yes, I'm gonna be putting, yeah, I'm gonna switch both of them out because I want to take this thing out in the mud, out in the dirt, in the mud. I know these tires are not gonna cut it for mud riding. You know, for like easy dirt, like hard pack, you know, light gravel, you know, light easy stuff, like a fire road, service road. This tire was fine, but if let's say those same roads, you know, like right now, the wet conditions, this tire is gonna be slipping and sliding all over the place. So that's what so I'm gonna put in the knobbies and have some fun in the mud. All right, so once I have everything up, I'm gonna post it up again. Well, you know, I'll connect the video. All right, so stay tuned.